Now, this past weekend, we saw two teams that didn't have their starting quarterbacks. In the case of Miami, they didn't even have their second string, but they still played pretty close games. In your opinion, who would have had the better chance to win if they had their starter quarterback? If Miami had Tua or if Baltimore had Lamar Jackson?
Neither one of them, because it wouldn't have made a difference.
I would say Tua
No, I wouldn't have said
because
neither one because Tua, he's been on and off the field, and we really don't know if he where's we don't know if this kid might be retiring. I mean, we don't know where his health is, and
no,
he's
no,
really going to think about his future.
his
Now, as
health
far as
is good.
Lamar Jackson goes, man, he's been off the field too long, and all he's doing is trying to wait for a payday. So
No, but
it wouldn't have made a difference between either one of those. They'd have both lost.
the thing about this is with Tua, he's okay to play. But with the climate of football right now, you can't put the kid on the field. That's all this shit is about. It ain't about, well, Tua still is in concussion protocol and all that. And you put that kid out there and he get his head knocked off and he get hurt and he laying out there like Hamlin. Football is done. You know what I'm saying? They can't do that. So it's better to let you sit out the whole year and it's your third concussion. Oh, you guys pushed him on the field because you wanted to win a football game. That's what it's going to turn into. And they can't take that chance. So now he has to sit it out. Now, as far as Lamar Jackson goes, everybody keep talking about, oh, well, if they'd have had Lamar Jackson, they would have done this. If you pay him and you do this. Well, okay, Lamar Jackson was out there last year. What happened? He got their ass whooped the same way. So, if I was Baltimore, ain't nowhere in the world I would pay Lamar Jackson. Straight up. Trade him and get whatever you can get for him. Because to me, attitude means something. And most guys don't see it that way. Oh, well, you're a good player. We won't dismiss it. No, your attitude means something. You got a bad attitude, especially as a quarterback. Ain't no way. I wouldn't pay him. Give me
Let's see
somebody in the draft. Give me some draft picks.
if they had to trade him, they would have to franchise him first, right?
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
I,
yeah,
I, I would believe so, yes, because they no longer
yeah. I
have
think it.
rights to him now.
Yeah. I think he'll be a free agent, so I think they have to franchise him if they're going to trade him.
But they're going to have a deal in place before he goes wherever he goes. I never seen a guy on the franchise tag get traded that's a top-notch quarterback.
Well, they already said they're going to franchise him. So,
You know.
They really
Yeah,
don't have a
but
choice.
the thing
yeah.
about it is, you're not going to trade 3 or 4 first-round draft picks for a guy that you may only have 1 or 2 years. They're going
Yeah,
to
they'll have to
sign the
work out a long
contract.
term deal. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Only
But
reason
let me
why.
ask you this: do you think they would have come out better had they signed him when he was eligible to be signed?
But
No.
see the problem. But the problem is this is what people don't understand. And I to talk to everybody about this. Everybody keep talking about they don't want to pay Lamar Jackson. They do want to pay Lamar Jackson. They put a contract out there for him. He refused to sign the contract. So when you refuse to sign the contract, see everybody always, oh, pay him, and you some kind of sellout or something. If you a black guy on TV talk about a guy shouldn't get his money, but these guys need to tell the truth because when that got paid and he got on, well, Jerry overpaid him. He swindled Jerry Jones. Oh, Jerry Jones say he got him and all this and that. No, that ain't what you're supposed to do. You got to look at both sides of the table. You got to say, okay, if you're Lamar Jackson, you want to get a good payday. And then if you're on the other side of the table, Lamar Jackson say, hey, I got 250 million guaranteed. If I get hurt, so what? I got my money. Okay, well, if you're a billionaire, that means you made good business decisions. Why in the world would I let a guy jam me up like that when I know it's not good for me? And that's what people don't understand. Okay, if you want short-term money, you want the most money you can make, I sign you up to a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, $45 million each. and then you keep coming back to the table every 2-3 years. I ain't got no problem with that. But me signing you up for 5 years fully guaranteed, and you running on the field like that, you get injured, and his numbers have not went up since he got the MVP. They have went down. And then they want somebody to pay him that kind of money. If it was me, I would not do it. And another thing I do not like about Lamar Jackson, nobody would pick this kid in the first round. Baltimore moved back in the first round and took him when nobody else would in the first round. Then they designed the offense especially for him. He's the only team I ever seen where they got 3 black quarterbacks. Now, they did him a favor. Now he's talking about, oh, I played and I did this, I did that. It's not your right. It's a privilege to play in the NFL. These guys gave you a blueprint, and they made you good based upon their system. Yeah, you got the skill set for it, but it should be some gratitude because the first $1 million he made with the Baltimore Ravens. That changed his life. That changed his mama's life. You owe them people some type of gratitude. Not talking about I'm going to get all I can get and I'm going to do this. Because at the end of the day, you're a rich guy now making $17, $18 million or whatever his 5th-year option was. But now it's all about the dollar, all about the dollar, all about the dollar. I guarantee you, bet you $1 to a donut. When Justin Herbert is up, Joe Burrow's up, and all them guys, you're not going to hear shit about no money. They're going to give them a good contract, and that's what they're going to work out. You ain't going to hear shit about no money. $1 to a donut right now.
But let me ask you this. First of all, $1 to a donut is funny. Let me ask you this. Did they make him an offer to extend after his 3rd year? Not last year, but after his 3rd year. Because he was eligible after 3 years.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think they made an offer and they didn't want to discuss it until after the season or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then it just kept going on, and it never manifested into a contract. Because after he won the MVP, I believe they offered him a deal then. I'm not sure, but I think that they did.
Well, see, I remember back in 2020, I remember there was speculation that if he got a new contract, it would be about 4 years, $170 million. Because people were asking, was he a $40 million contract? I mean, a $40 million a year guy, but I never heard if Baltimore actually offered him that or that was just what people were estimating or something. So
they were estimating that. I don't think they offered him anything that year. They're waiting until his 4th year or was up or whatever.
Because I wonder if they would have offered if they wanted to keep him, and I stress if they wanted to keep him, if they would have just come out better, maybe offering in 2020. I mean, would they have saved money? Is what I was asking.
But the bottom line of it is, I mean, he's not going to win the big game for you. Baltimore designed the offense for him, but that's not an offense that's going to take you to the Super Bowl. Okay, so and now you got Cincinnati, who's running the division now. You got an up and coming young stud. You know, everybody thought it was going to be a down year for Pittsburgh. Steelers ended up surprising everybody. So I mean, next year they're going to be in the hunt, and who knows what Cleveland's going to do. You know, with Deshaun Watson getting sharp over the offseason. So Baltimore's in trouble.
I mean, my thing is, I agree with Ray that they built the team for him, and if he goes somewhere else, I don't know how he has success because they got to start over and cater it, you know, for his style of play. So I mean, I think Baltimore is the best place for him. I just don't know if either one of them wants the other one at this point. It's kind of crazy. It's going to be really interesting to see how this offseason plays out with what happens in San Francisco, what happens in Baltimore, what happens in Green Bay, where does David Carr go, and then you got these rookies coming out in the draft. Man, there's a lot going on with quarterbacks this year because quarterbacks ain't growing on trees. So, I mean, you got to try to find one in order to have some sort of success.
And let me ask you a question. With the way that he is acting, would you give him a contract?
No.
Because he quit on his football team. You got to understand that. When you didn't sign the contract at the beginning of the season, you agreed to play in the season. Now when they get to the playoffs and they need you, you don't want to come back when you knew that you didn't sign the contract. So now you're making this about money when money is important. Don't get me wrong, but you're supposed to be there with the brotherhood of your team, and he's not doing that. He want every dollar he can get, knowing they're going to probably have to let Ronnie Stanley go. No, they're going to have to probably let Mark Andrews go or somebody else behind his contract. But he don't see that until he starts getting sacked and getting his head knocked off. And then you wonder what happened. So if I get hurt, I just sit out. I ain't going to play. Now you don't give a shit. Now you're crippling the franchise because you're not out there to play. There's no way I would sign him up to a contract.
I wouldn't sign him either.
Yeah, and then like his injury, he had what he classified as a grade 2 PCL sprain, which he said was almost grade 3. But a PCL sprain in most cases is 2 weeks, and in extreme cases 3 to 4 weeks. How long has it been since Lamar played? Since week 12? Yeah, so Lamar's been out for like 6 weeks. So I don't, and I mean, of course, we'll never know if the man is truly hurt or not. But I look at this whole situation as a holdout, as far as what he did. Like, you won't give me what I want, so I'm not going to help you win. And like Ray said, man, that's a bad look for the team. I know J.K. Dobbins had said, I think it was J.K. Dobbins that said if Lamar would have played, we would have won. And I mean.
And I think the other guy played well, except he stuck that ball across the goal line.
Yeah.
But other than that, they was on the way to win the game when nobody gave him a chance.
It looks like it.
But
and then the worst thing happened. I mean, not only did he fumble, but the guy was able to run it back. So that was like the worst case scenario.
So instead of 24-17 your way, it's 24-17 the other way.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, if Lamar Jackson had a history of winning in the playoffs, then we could talk about that. All that regular season record, all that's good. But in the playoffs, he's looked like a different player each year he's been in the playoffs. So I don't know. If it's me, I'm not paying you what Burrow and Herbert and all them guys getting. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Lamar is better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. But as far as the money that he's wanting, I couldn't do it. I couldn't come close to it. I just couldn't.
Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.